Also, when I lift one of these boxes, where am I going to put it? Because that bottom 18 inches of bending, that's what's really hard on your back. So it's nice to have an empty bee box around that you can just leave there, have your outer lid flipped upside down on it, and it'll save you that little bit of lifting. And at the end of the day, that really does make a big difference. So this is an empty box of comb. There might be a few drips and drabs of honey, but for all intents and purposes, that's empty. Be aware too, when you're putting your frames and boxes down, that you're not getting grass or dirt on it. Keep it clean. So by glancing at this, it looks like most of this is drawn, but my concern with this is the same as the other ones. Is there still a strip in here? And is there any undrawn foundation down below? So once I've cracked that box, I don't want to set it back down because I potentially could be squishing bees. So let's see what we have here.
Well, you'll have honey down below too.
Murphy's Law states the time you don't glance at the queen excluder is the time she's crawling on it. So let's tip this back and look for queen cells.
I see one emerged.
Well, that's a queen cup.
Oh, I see. Just cups.
And there's always going to be cups in a colony, but it doesn't look like they've been drawn into cells. Let's see how close the bees let my face get to them.
Yeah.
How can you tell the difference between a cell and a cup?
A cup just isn't built. It's just sitting there waiting for the queen to lay an egg in it.
Okay.
So what I did is I opened each one of those three up to see if I saw any eggs inside there. Because as soon as you start to see eggs, all of a sudden that queen cup becomes a queen swarm cell. Right? There's no eggs in there. So she might have a colony here that didn't swarm. Fresh pollen. I'm going to speed this inspection up just a little bit, so I'm just going to audibly speak what I'm doing. So I gave myself room. There's capped brood. I'm sure we saw that in the first colony. There's the difference between capped brood. Nice and smooth, it's solid. The young larva, there's lots of jelly around it. That's royal jelly, that's healthy. The color of it is nice and pearly white. It's not brown or beige. And there's a big patch of eggs. They're laid well. So as far as judging this colony right now, is there need for me to go any further?
No, actually no.
There's no evidence of swarm cells. There's healthy brood, lots of eggs.
I close her up. Close her up. Move on.
Do you want me to leave a written certificate? A guarantee.
How many have you caught so far, Ingrid? How many swarms do you have so far?
Is there eggs and brood on the outer?
There was eggs and brood on the third frame in.
The third frame in, okay. And I'll use my term, general rule. That's about as far out as they'll go with the...
No, I've seen colonies fill the outside comb of the outside frame with brood.
Now, is that because that you have the queen extruder on it, so they can't get up to the next?
That might encourage them, yeah.
To just lay in the bottom?
Yeah, but you know what? 2,000 eggs a day can really add up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, when they do the math, as far as how many cells are on a frame, what's her potential to lay, she's not, by the time she gets to, I think, frame 7, frame 1's hatching. So you can keep a colony in a single brood box, but I don't encourage you do that for the first 5 years. It's still 90% of beekeepers keep them in 2 brood boxes. What Ingrid is doing here is she's trying to get a fail-safe way of ensuring that she has enough honey for the winter, so she doesn't have to feed a lot of sugar syrup. So when she harvests her honey, she can take off her 3rd, 4th, 5th box and remove this excluder and put this box on top and leave that for winter. And if this is more or less filled with honey, she won't have to feed it. So you can do it that way. Some people will winter in 1 box as well. So that was drawn. I can see that these frames are drawn. All that stuff is drawn. This is drawn. There's eggs. I don't see any swarm cells.
How heavy is that one?
Oh, 45 pounds. Not even. There, so I'll just put this right back up on top. Now, using that 7-10 rule, there's nowhere near 7 frames of honey here, so it doesn't need any more room. So that's the last hive, and I didn't see a strip down in this box, which is good. So for some reason, these 2 have been left in, and I don't know about the rest. I'll talk to Ingrid about that later. So that's it for these. Before we all head back in, looks like Margaret's busy working over there. You might want to, there. What's happened is they've caught 2, how is Ian doing this?
Then he flips it up the other way, 180. Yeah. He puts it up so it's hidden.
They've caught 2 separate swarms. Or actually, Lawrence, do you want to tell everybody what they're doing right there?
They're basically